Hello everybody, Grant Neal here, Verulam Golf Club, out on the driving range today, and I want to talk to you about how can we make sure that we're optimising our drives, how we're getting the most distance out of our drives, because this time of year, winter golf, the ball's not travelling so far in the air, the cold air makes it travel less distance, and also when it lands on the ground, we're not getting that bounce or that roll that we were getting a couple of months ago. So how can we make sure that we are optimising our distance and getting that ball going as far as we can? So one way of hitting the ball further is an obvious one, swing it faster, right? But unfortunately, we can still swing the club faster and actually have less distance. How is that possible? Well, it all comes down to whereabouts your golf ball is touching the club when you make contact. Okay, now this golf club, the face on the golf club, this thing here kind of works like a trampoline. Now, some of you have probably been on a trampoline more recently than others, but if you can try and remember what that is like, the golf club is very similar to a trampoline. So, if you've been on a trampoline before, if you jump in the middle, okay, which we call the sweet spot just here, if you jump in the middle of that trampoline, you get pretty consistent height, but you also get the most height that you possibly can, right? If you start jumping around the edge of that trampoline, not the very edge, but towards the edges, you don't get the spring, so you can't jump as high. And there's also something else that happens. That trampoline will try to almost bounce you back to the middle of the trampoline, okay? So the golf club works in a very similar way. If I hit the middle of this trampoline, okay, I get the most distance that I possibly can. If I start to hit towards the edges, first of all, I lose distance. I don't get the spring off the club face. And also, it's gonna try to push my ball back towards the center or back towards its target line. So if I hit it a little bit more towards what we call the toe side, it's more likely to make my ball want to spin or curl a little bit more to the left. If I hit it a bit more off the heel side, this side of the trampoline, it's more likely to make my ball want to spin or go a little bit to the right. Of course, that depends on how open or closed your club face is. It depends on the speed as well. But essentially, to get this ball going as far as we can, we must hit the middle of the club face. We take it for granted that we hit it, but test it out, okay? Use a Sharpie, draw on the ball, you leave a mark. Get some spray, face spray, spray on the club face. Again, it's gonna leave a mark, and it will tell you exactly where you're hitting it on the club face. If you want it to go further, you must hit the middle. Okay, so if you ever look at the image on screen, this is actually for one of my clients a couple of days ago in the studio using the GC quad. You'll see a couple of things. You'll see where he struck it on the club face, which is close to center. A little bit heel bias, but close to the center. And then you'll also see his ball speed and then his club head speed of 103. Now, if you look at the next image, what you will notice that in this shot, his club head speed is actually increased by almost 3 miles an hour, which normally we would see an increase in the ball speed. But unfortunately, because this player, as you can see in the below image, has hit it further from the center, so not only more towards the hill, but lower on the club face, further from that center, he's not able to get that spring off the club face that is essential for hitting the ball as far as possible.